Welcome to Rumble Station.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Rumble Station. Today I am joined by Doug and Dom, and we're here to talk about your assumptions and questions about Malaysian music.
Hi, I'm Doug. I am I'm known as the drummer from a local indie alternative rock band called Lucid. I'm colorblind, and I am also a huge attention-seeking boy that's trying to be a man.
I can verify all of those, especially the colorblind part. Parking with Doug is real fun. Everything is red.
I swear. The red lights and green lights look the same. Don't tell the JPJ that.
Hi, I'm Dom. I am the frontman of an indie pop band, Meraki. We have just recently released our debut EP, Dream State. And I'm also part of Lucid as well as Doug. And I play bass for Lucid. An interesting fact about me is that I'm not colorblind. Yeah.
Oh, damn, you got the good genes.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
Who had any idea? All right, so we're here to discuss some of the questions and assumptions that you guys have sent in via our Instagram sticker story. So thank you if you submitted your questions. And so we're here to get our insider opinions from people in the scene as well, besides mine. Okay, you boys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, the first one that I think many people agree with, and it's the first thought that comes to their mind, there are not enough opportunities to grow, and Malaysian music is undersupported.
Interesting. I go first. It is a very tough industry to actually, I guess, make it as a musician, because you don't really see a lot of musicians that actually make it internationally, that could also do this as a full-time career. And that's because actually, this is towards my own opinion. It's that when you tell people about Malaysian music, a lot of times people always think that, oh, it's Siti Nurhaliza, or it's some Ramlee music. It's a lot of music that always ties in within usually the Malay scene, or it's something around the early days or somewhere around the classical era. So when we show that there's actually a local urban scene or local indie scene that's trying to blossom up, taking inspirations from Western influences, not many people are actually aware of that. I feel that there are also a lot of people that are actually a lot more attracted towards Western music than they are towards local music, due to songwriting capabilities by our locals, or also due to production levels. And I think these are the two main points that actually allow your song to stand out, or actually, die off
Fall
in
into
the
a grade,
process.
yeah.
Exactly. Fall into a grid.
Yeah, like, I agree with what Doug said. It's about like how the music is fed here locally. The local radio, a lot of it focuses on international Western music, and that's what they're feeding the public, in a sense. Like, I'll be honest, I don't really listen to that much radio. So I for one don't even know what's popular now in terms of like the international Western world, because I find my music through like YouTube and Spotify, and there is already a better reach,
I mean, if you listen
not
to
recognized enough.
Current radio anyway, you're probably going to hear Dance Monkey and Senorita like 1,000 times anyway. Even the range of Western music that they play isn't that wide. It's a cyclical thing. Before it was Christina Perry's Human, which they still play on Light FM.
Yeah.
Only on Sundays at 4 p.m. they have the Met 10, right, Dom?
Yes. So HitzFM have a Met 10 series where they play lots of local music. It's basically an hour worth of local music, but there are also other radio stations who are hopping onto that and like trying to promote the local scene as well. But there are very limited number of radio stations doing so.
I think like also coming into a digital era as compared to back then, when we're only forced to I guess our only source of listening to music will only be either coming from the radio or actually going to a store and purchasing it. But in most cases, if you actually just listen to the radio, you'd have to listen to what's on the radio. Whereas nowadays we have like Spotify, we have YouTube. People are actually allowed to, you know, just completely ignore, I guess would be a word, local acts and only search up perhaps their favorite pop hits from America or, you know, the Brits.
Next assumption. I used to think that Malaysian music was all cheesy and traditional.
I
think it still is, you know.
It still is.
You know, like typical band references that come up. So
Yeah.
like they sound like the 1975, or
Yeah.
or it's either that, or in terms of a rock sense, it's like Arctic Monkeys, and then in the pop punk sense, it's like
Green Day probably.
Green Day, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we do try to experiment and branch out, but I also got to say that like a lot of my inspirations are also from those, you know, Western artists, and I think it makes sense, you know, because it's like that's what we listen to, therefore that's what we end up creating and curating. So, yeah, what do you think, Doug?
I mean, I mean, you're not wrong. It's definitely true, and I feel that a lot of people feel this way is because it's proven to be a formula that actually works. If you write it in this style and you write it with these instruments, and probably this structure, it's confirmed and guaranteed to actually get people to listen to your song. Probably because, I don't know, it's easy to learn, or there's a hook that's constantly playing in your head like an earworm and things like that. And because I think a lot of bands, they leech off of this formula because it grants them like quick access to probably popularity and etc. etc.
But I wonder what makes something cheesy. Because, okay, I'm thinking about, let's say, okay, like we, all three of us listen to a lot of pop punk, and the lyrics in pop punk, they're not, most of the time, the ones that are hits anyway, they're not exactly the most riveting lyrics. You know, they're pretty straightforward. It's usually like a high school love story, and we don't find it cringy at all. But for some reason, if we listen to a Malaysian person singing something along those lines, it's like, oh, I can't stand it. I don't know. That's what I think. Do you think it could be due to the fact that we're not used to seeing people like us sing about those things or talk about those things? It's like a similar reaction to when we see Malaysian people on TV. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like seeing people that look like you, or like people that look like your friends on TV, suddenly it's so jarring. Like, oh, you really act like that? You know?
Dom, what do you think?
I think it comes down to like a lot of, I think the kind of music also comes down to a lot of like personal preference. And like, you know, because I think sometimes we might feel like it's cheesy, but to others it may not be. We may feel that way because we are behind the trend, if that makes sense. And by the time something is popular and we catch on to it, there's always something else. Or there's something new. So by the time we do it, it's like we're like it's like oh, that was already old or something like that. But I don't know, like it's weird because I feel like for Malaysian music there isn't like a specific expectation that they have. So the moment they do hear something, they immediately try to link that with something else, and usually it's like it's like based on the reference, but it's done less good. Therefore, that idea of like, oh, you know, that it's kind of cringy, kind of cheesy because of that lah. You know, and I feel like it's what we're fed, and then the circumstances that we're in, and how the music is fed. Yeah, so that it's like I feel like it's a continuous change.
We're like making a Walmart version of everything that we hear.
In a nutshell, basically. Because I don't think we can deny the fact that Western music has really influenced on a lot of musicians' I guess inspirations and choices of writing and their styles and things like that. So I guess when it comes to, I feel that a lot of locals, they already have this kind of visual representation of what Malaysian music is like and what kind of people would be playing these kind of music. And once we try to implement the same kind of writing style into Malaysian music, like for example, writing about like your high school crush, for example, it's quite I can understand why it would seem as something that's cheesy, and because it kind of makes us feel like we're just wannabes, I guess, because we're trying to break, I guess, the status quo of Malaysian music, and we're supposed to be writing sad ballad songs with a cello in it, you know. Because that's for some reason that's how it's always been, you know. And if you compare it to like other styles, it's like from different cultures. For example, how K-pop has even developed their own style, and we've even got some Malaysian groups that are trying to follow this K-pop group. Not mistaken, there's a group called Dolla that's under Universal Music. They are definitely trying to break out of it, and they've, as far as I'm aware, probably one of the first few girl groups in Malaysia to actually try and head towards this K-pop route with Malay songs. And I think that's cool, but I also feel that there could be some backlash for people saying, you know, oh, this is only supposed to be in Korea. You just want to be. This is so weird seeing your choreos, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Even your, you know, your hairstyle and your clothing designs, they're all like K-pop. Why can't you just be more Malaysian kind of stuff? And it's things that I feel that I've heard a lot of from people who aren't as I guess educated in what the current local music scene is about.
Yeah, one of my friends also told me about Dolla, and I listened to that song, and I haven't watched the music video. Doug has, but I listened to it, and I really enjoyed it. I think that new song is called Impikan.
Yeah, Impikan.
Yeah, it's really good. Totally surpassed my expectations. And you know what you said about people saying like, oh, will people think that they're like wannabes? That's very true. But I think the music is produced really well, and I don't foresee that they would get such a reaction, because so far so good from what I can see. But yeah, it's quite strange. We idolize things that we see that we can't have, and once we try and emulate it, people think you're a poser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's like there is never a win-win situation.
Yeah,
and
as
there'll
you said,
always be
as you said, like, oh, why can't you just be more Malaysian or something?
Yeah.
But then if you're more Malaysian, you probably won't watch it because you'll find it
exactly
cringy or dated.
It's the same old stuff, a band and a cello.
What is it with you and cello?
Dude, I swear, if you, I don't know. As far as I'm aware, the majority of like classical, like I guess Malay music that I've heard, there's always the band and the cello. It's the cello
solo.
Cello solo. Yeah, exactly. It's the cello solo that creates this entire new style of what we would categorize as Malay Pop Ballad these days.
All right, next assumption. My assumptions depend on the era it came out, as in like the era the music came out. That was it. So.
Right. Yep. Yep.
The era the music came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for you guys, do you have what are your musical eras in Malaysia's music scene timeline for you? How do you identify songs?
Wow.
How do you categorize them?
We'll be completely honest. we have been in the scene for about like 3 years, so it's like we really like don't know in terms of we just know from our point of view, we just know the set of bands that were before us, the set of bands that are growing with us, and then a new batch that is kind of small that is like coming up now. So it's like those are like the categories we know lah, you know, in a sense.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Why
in
don't
terms
you tell
of
me about
eras,
those?
we don't know. So I think for our current group, in terms of like the bands now, it's like mixture of Meraki, Lucid, and then there's so many in terms of Senja, Timemachine,
Alien Lipstick Fire, Resort, The Filters.
there's a lot.
No.
If you want to talk about like solo artists, NYK, Talitha, Lunadira, Airliftz. But I mean, obviously, in terms of, if we're talking about era, some of these artists have been around a lot longer before we even started in that sense. I suppose to them, they would see us as like the new kids in the block because we really just got here, and then we have a lot more to offer, but due to COVID, it's no one's offering anything. So the era before us would be like Anonymous Mistake, Popshuvit, Bunkface,
One Box Short. Yeah.
Quite a few. Yeah. Kyoto Protocol has been around for I think 10 years already.
Yeah.
So like so not specifically eras, but I guess there was like that frame, that period of time where like there was a lot of rock bands coming up. You know? And I suppose now the new era is a lot of like indie stuff, because indie music is really like kind of pushing, coming out, especially like the bedroom pop stuff. So like it's almost like a feeling that like everyone and anyone could do it. Therefore they try it anyway, and that's why like there's like a sudden surge of like these artists, and a lot more solo artists. It used to be a lot of bands. I feel like now there are a lot more like solo artists that are coming up, and then they have a lot more to offer. Yeah,
like our Mr. Khai Zhen, if you watched the previous episode, right there. I'm sure Belle will like put like something there.
Yeah, I'll put the card at the top.
yeah, exactly. Like click right here to watch Khai Zhen's previous interview with Belle. It's like, right there.
Yeah, right there.
Or there.
Or there. I don't know if it'll be mirrored.
Belle will fix it in post, no worries.
Yes.
I'll fix all of it.
Belle will fix all of it in post. And I think a lot of this honestly comes from again, if I'm not mistaken, Ed Sheeran. Because he started because
started with the solo stuff.
He started with the solo stuff, and it was just him, his guitar, and a lot of looping of tracks. And from there, he produced his music. And coming from where he used to be to where he is now, I think that really made a huge impact on a lot of musicians around. And because of that, for all you fellow musicians out there, all the Focusrite 2i2s are currently out of stocks. Because like that's like the most budget audio interfaces you can find out in the market.
Next assumption. All Malaysian music is not my cup of tea because of the generic love song melody and lyrics.
And cello.
And Doug's beloved cello. We kind of covered this just now when we talked about it a little bit. So
I mean,
it still exists, but
it's an assumption. It's not like a statement, right?
Yeah, it's an assumption.
Okay, because basically, I feel like not all Malaysian music is like that,
Yeah.
But I'll admit, most of my songs are. However, there are many more artists that are out there that don't write their song on that basis of, of that theme, basically,
because no one writes a love song about a canteen.
Okay, that was probably my best idea yet.
It's a love song, but about a canteen.
Yeah,
like
but it's still a love song.
See, that's special. All you're missing now is the cello.
No cellos allowed.
Damn it, Dom. Stick to the status quo, mate.
What's that song?
High School Musical, check it out.
Yeah.
It's called Status Quo, dude. I do agree. Not all Malay music is like that, but I guess also repeating like something that I previously mentioned, it is something that's proven to work. It is a formula that actually works and exists. And if you probably look up, I may be wrong about this, but I'm like maybe 80% sure, or 30% sure, that 90% of Malay music that you find, like the most popular ones, your top picks of Malay music that you find in Malaysia, it will probably be about very sad, sappy love songs with a cello.
But that's the thing. That's the market.
That
that's
is the market.
That's what sells here. That's why it does well, and that's why we are labeled as like Malaysian music is labeled as that. So at the same time, that assumption is also correct.
But you know what is quite popular now actually? Malay rap. Like I would say that's probably
that is true. Yeah.
going to take over from I don't know if it'll completely take over, but it seems to be very popular.
No, I actually highly agree with you. The hip hop scene that we have in Malaysia is actually slowly booming, and we've actually got organizers that are trying to create a series of videos to actually help push the hip hop society in Malaysia. If you guys are actually aware of 16 Baris, 16 Baris, they've actually taken, if I'm not mistaken, I think maybe 4 acts per volume, and they do it in a setting where it's in a barbershop. If I'm not mistaken, they've only done probably season 1.
I think I know this.
It's
in the one
ASYRF Nasir is in it.
Is it the one?
Yeah. If I'm not
the
mistaken.
barbershop seats, and then it's a checkerboard floor, and then there's
exactly.
Oh, I have seen it too. Yeah.
Almost everyone has seen it because of how well it's actually doing, and I kind of impact that it's really driving the hip hop scene in Malaysia, especially having big names in the scene. For example, we have Airliftz, we have ASYRF Nasir, we actually have even Dato Maw, if you guys know of him. He's a Chinese rapper that came from born and raised in Malaysia, but he went to if I'm not mistaken, China and Taiwan to actually pursue a career over there, but decided to come back to Malaysia to actually continue with his musician's life. It's actually doing pretty well, the hip hop scene right here.
Yeah, you can go check out Rap Malaysia on Spotify. It's like a booming rap playlist. And, I just looked it up before the call. I was thinking about, hey, that Malay rap is actually very popular. So
yeah. Even Good Vibes, they're hosting an entire room, an entire space just for rappers to perform, and same goes with Urbanscapes.
Really?
Oh, is it Electric Fields?
Yeah, is it not? Yeah.
I mean, Electric Fields is a mixture of
Oh, it's a mixture?
DJ based.
Actually, I would say Electric Fields is mostly DJ based. Maybe you think of Urbanscapes actually.
Right.
Urbanscapes,
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and if you're watching and you have no idea what we're talking about, Good Vibes. Okay, you probably know Good Vibes. Good Vibes is like the biggest music festival.
Well, not that, but
in
Jang
Malaysia,
Jangs.
with the Jang and the electric
And the
fields.
wash, kick, snap, wash.
And Urbanscapes is also another very popular music event in KL. I think they've slowly branched out from music to do other things like art and what else they do?
I think Urbanscapes and Rio in the City are like kind of within the same category. But I think Rio is the one that's more open to like films, art pieces, and like a lot of their, like for Rio, it's quite cool. They conduct like this open festival, and then they have open shops that sell like their art as well as like live music. Meraki was supposed to have a 2-day set there. We were supposed to play, and that was like our biggest gig yet. And then boom, COVID happened. So that was it. The band just stopped. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean stopped?
That was the end of Meraki.
That was it.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. So you're like, okay lah, we just write the EP.
No, they're done.
Okay, all right. This is the final assumption. Well, this is more like a question from the sticker poll.
Okay.
All right. So this is from one of my French friends actually, and he asks, "What's the most popular genre in Malaysia? Do they listen to French music?"
Ooh.
Most popular genre here.
Yeah.
Malay
Like,
Pop
okay.
Ballad.
Malay Pop Ballad.
Malay Pop Ballad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Malay Pop Ballad.
All right. Yeah.
That's
I think
it.
we established
Yeah,
that.
that's
that
We've,
is
we've,
the
yes.
consensus of this entire
Yeah,
video.
Yeah,
Do they
exactly.
listen to French music here? I think there is, or maybe a small market, but
yeah.
It must be. I'll presume it's quite small up. Personally, I don't know how many French speakers there are here locally.
Yeah,
Therefore,
it's a very
I don't know how many
niche
people.
market in Malaysia.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of friends, but I just know Belle that listens to French music and also speaks French. So it's like, within like a circle of like maybe 30 friends, one or two, therefore that kind of accumulates to that market of people who listen to French music.
Well, we've met a French trio band
That is
called
true.
This Way Down, but they play English songs.
Oh, they're great, by the way. Yeah,
They are great. They are great.
Yeah. They kind of fit themselves within the grid, and then they really write like really nice alternative rock English music. Yeah, despite being French, But I think that makes them such a cool niche to have. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
a French band in Malaysia that plays like English rock music, right? It's so cool.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, maybe if it's not rock music, maybe it's like alternative indie rock, then so be it. I don't really know the name of the genre, but like the music is really good. So
For me, I do have some friends, like because I dance, I have a few dance friends who really like French rap and French hip hop. So that's
wow.
that's quite, I wouldn't say it's very popular, but they do listen to it.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you guys knew, but the most popular genre I would say in France and even like Netherlands and Germany is techno, like hard style techno.
Wow.
Yeah.
what was the name of the artist? The one where in the music video they pretend to all be like mannequins. And then the most common line is like Papa, something like that.
Papa Ute.
Ah.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, he's cool. I don't know a word he's saying. Like, I have to translate everything for me, but it was searching it now.
Yeah.
I was trying to search up Papa Ute, but I'm getting Papa Roach instead.
Yeah, that's probably like the most popular, internationally popular French song. Papa Ute.
What was that song from what was that song from Ratatouille?
Okay, no, that's already in like the meme category. That's why.
That's probably more meme. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, so that concludes this episode, the first episode of MADLAD Talks, and we will see you on the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.